Imagine standing beside a river with a fishing rod. The fish are there. You know they are. But instead of waiting for the right moment, you cast your line every few seconds. You move from one spot to another. You change your bait constantly. Eventually, you become exhausted. Not because the river had no fish, but because you never gave yourself the chance to catch one. The stock market works much the same way. Most traders don't lose because they lack intelligence. They lose because they confuse action with progress. They believe that every hour should produce a trade, every market movement deserves attention, and every price swing is an opportunity. The market quietly rewards the opposite. It rewards patience. History has shown that many successful traders were not constantly buying and selling. Instead, they spent long periods observing, waiting, and preparing. They understood that extraordinary profits often come from a handful of exceptional opportunities rather than hundreds of average ones. Yet this idea feels almost impossible to accept. We're surrounded by flashing charts, breaking news, social media alerts, and influencers celebrating every trade. The message is clear: always be doing something. But markets don't pay you for being busy, they pay you for being right. And being right often means doing absolutely nothing until the odds shift heavily in your favor. That is one of the hardest lessons in investing. Not because it's technically difficult, because it's psychologically difficult. Every trader knows the feeling. You open your charting platform with no intention of trading. 5 minutes later, you've convinced yourself that a random movement is the setup. 10 minutes later, you've entered a position. 30 minutes later, you're wondering why you ignored your own rules. Nothing changed in the market. Your emotions change. The fear of missing out is one of the strongest forces in financial markets. Watching prices rise without you creates anxiety. Watching others post profits online makes you question your own discipline. Soon, patience feels like failure. Waiting feels like weakness. But that's exactly where most mistakes begin. Professional traders often spend far more time watching than trading. Think about that. A surgeon doesn't perform operations every hour simply because they're at the hospital. A sniper doesn't fire at every movement. A chess grandmaster doesn't move pieces randomly just to stay active. The highest performers in almost every field understand that restraint is a skill. Trading is no different. One of the biggest misconceptions about successful investors is that they possess some magical ability to predict every market movement. They don't. Nobody does. The difference is much simpler. They know when not to participate. Every trade carries risk. Every click of the buy button exposes capital to uncertainty. So the question shouldn't be, can I trade today? The question should be, does this opportunity deserve my money? Those are completely different questions. Imagine entering a casino where every game has slightly different odds. Some tables give the casino a massive advantage. Others are nearly even. If you had the freedom to choose, why would you play the worst games? Yet many traders do exactly that. They take mediocre setups simply because they want action. Markets offer thousands of opportunities every year. Only a small percentage are truly exceptional. The challenge isn't finding trades. The challenge is ignoring the mediocre ones. This idea separates amateurs from professionals. Amateurs ask, what should I buy today? Professionals ask, is today worth buying at all? That single shift in thinking changes everything. Let's imagine two investors. The first makes 3 trades every day. By the end of the year, they've placed more than 700 trades. The second investor spends days, sometimes weeks, doing nothing. They wait until every condition on their checklist aligns. Trend, volume, market strength, risk to reward. Only then do they act. At first glance, the first trader appears more productive. They're always busy, always analyzing, always executing. But activity and effectiveness are not the same thing. Overtrading quietly destroys performance. Every unnecessary trade introduces transaction costs, emotional stress, and additional opportunities for mistakes. Even if each bad decision costs only a small amount, hundreds of unnecessary decisions compound into significant losses. Now imagine the second investor. Because they trade less frequently, each decision receives more attention. Each position is carefully planned. Each exit is predetermined. Each loss is controlled. Their account grows not because they're constantly right, but because they avoid being unnecessarily wrong. This is one of the greatest paradoxes in investing. Sometimes your biggest profits come from the trades you never take. Markets tempt you every single day. Prices rise, prices fall. News breaks, rumors spread. Financial television fills every hour with urgent opinions. But markets don't care about urgency. The market will still be here tomorrow, and next week, and next year. Your capital, however, is limited. Every unnecessary trade consumes part of it. More importantly, every emotional decision weakens your discipline. That's why patience is more than waiting. It's protecting your future opportunities. Think of patience as preserving ammunition. An experienced archer doesn't fire every arrow into the woods hoping something happens. Each arrow is valuable. Each shot matters. Your investment capital deserves the same respect. One of the easiest ways to measure your maturity as a trader isn't by asking how much money you've made. Ask yourself a different question. How many bad trades did you successfully avoid this month? That number often reveals more than your profits. Because every avoided mistake is money that remains available for the next great opportunity. And those great opportunities always come. Not every day, not every week, but they come. The market has always rewarded those who are prepared when everyone else is impatient.